Okay, to begin lecture number 2, I'm going to go over a couple housekeeping items. And the first one is the lecture video notes that I'm going to be presenting to you today. If you go to class note, you're going to be able to access my OneNote notes exactly as I'm presenting them to you. Also, I'm going to be talking about this printable engineering paper here in a moment. So let's go to change my video source here. And so here is the OneNote notebook. And what I have printed up here is I have a set of, I had the printable engineering paper. And I'm bringing this up because today is going to be the first time that you're going to do homework for this class. And I like it to be on engineering paper. I understand that paper, please do it on a sheet of plain white notebook paper. That's what I want you to do it on. Or if you have a printer, you can print out some engineering paper using this printable engineering paper thing. But what I want you to do on your paper is make sure that on the top of the paper you're going to put a header, and you get 1 point for this header all the time. So the header is going to look like this. It's going to say thermodynamics here. Okay. And then it's going to say in the middle, it's going to say what homework number you're working on. So we're going to say this is maybe homework number 1, and then the date here. So today's date is 6, or when it's due. So this is going to be due on Thursday. So 6/11/2020, and then I want you to put your name. Now over here in the corner, I want you to put, if you think that you're going to be doing this is multiple pages here, and we're going to put all the homework in as one. This is going to be page 1 of however many. So you might have 3 pages, 2 pages, 1 page. That's what you're going to be working on here. So this is, let's just pretend like there's going to be 2 pages here. This is going to be 1 of 2. Okay. Having this on every page is worth 1 point. Okay. Very easy. 1 point for having that on every page. Then what I want you to do is I want you to say what is your problem number. So problem number 1. And then what I want you to do is I want you to restate the problem. Restate. Let me just print. Now, this could be your own restatement of the problem, or this could be just copying things down word for word. It's important that you know the knowns. It's important that you say what you're going to find. Okay? And this here is going to be worth, if you restate it, is going to be worth 1 point. Then what's important is you draw some sort of diagram. Now, you may think it's difficult to draw a diagram for some of the problems that you'll be dealing with, but I'm going to tell you that you can draw a diagram on every problem. If it's just a box, I want a diagram on every problem and every problem you're dealing with. As we get going into thermo, it's going to be very easy to draw diagrams. At the very beginning, it's going to be probably more difficult to draw diagrams. But unless I state otherwise, a diagram is required. Okay? So a diagram. Also, what we're going to put down with diagram, which is going to come later, is we're going to talk about our engineering model. Or our assumptions. Okay? And this whole thing here is going to be worth 1 point. We have to have this diagram. This model and assumptions is going to come later. And what does it mean by model and assumptions? When you're doing these problems in class, we're going to understand, okay, I understand what you assumed or how you're modeling these problems, but there may be time in the future when you look back and you just say, I don't remember what model I used. We need to explicitly state which model you're using here, so if a third party looks at it, they say, oh, you are considering the gas to be an ideal gas, or you're considering gravity to be constant, okay? So these are things that I want you to start thinking about later. I'll tell you when the assumptions and models need to start coming into play, so that you can be well aware of this. But diagram you have to have every time here. Then what I want you to do is I want you to start with the analysis. The analysis is basically how you're going to be solving the problem. Okay, and so here you're going to start to, and I like the equation, substitution, and then result way of going about things. So for example, the equation A be F is equal to ma. You're going to stick that equation. Then you're going to say, well, force substitution, maybe my mass is going to be 5 kilograms, and my acceleration is going to be 2 meters per second squared. Okay, so now my result is force is going to be equal to 10 kilogram meter per second squared, which is equal to 10 newtons. Okay, that's what you're going to do for your analysis. This whole thing is going to be 1 point, showing your analysis. Now, it's important to me that you, I like you to underline, double underline intermediate calculations. So let's say maybe you have to do a calculation first and it finds out that the answer is 5 and you're going to use it for another calculation. I like you to double underline those things. I like you to, if you're looking up in the book, if you reference the table you use. So for example, you might say from table A2, you got a value that you're dealing with. So that's something that I want you to do. That's also helping me and helping you figure out, okay, you were in the wrong table, you were in the wrong, you were looking at the wrong information. If you happen to be doing something on Google, that you look something up on Google, then I want to say here, from Google or from Engineering Toolbox. But okay, so all that goes into analysis. And your final point is going to be that you take your answer and you simply box it. This is going to be worth 1 point. And this is where the 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 5, this is where your 5 points are going to be for your homework formatting assignment. It's pretty simple. That scan that you're going to have is like this. Now, you're going to be plugging this answer into Wiley Plus and checking to see if it's correct or not. But this is where those 5 points are going to come. I also like to make sure that at the very end you might want to put a comment. And sometimes this comment is just for your benefit. Hey, I struggle with this problem, or hey, one of the things I was working on here, I forgot to look in table A3, I was looking at table A2. Something there, this is for you to kind of give some notes to yourself. Okay, so this is going to be the homework format, what I want. Now I have a couple documents out there on Canvas that have a little bit more detail. I have an example of this that you can see. I have a document that talks to you a little bit more about how we're going to convert units and things of that nature. We're going to use the railroad tracking technique. Watch those so you can be prepared for your homework. Okay?